Hello everybody, today we're going to be making a really cool art project based on Dr. Seuss's book, The Lorax. If you remember from the book, the Lorax is an adorable little creature. He runs around this magical, wacky forest, and he is there to protect the trees who cannot speak for themselves, so he speaks for them to make sure they're not hurt or chopped down. Now, in the book, The Lorax, the trees are really wobbly and crazy, and they have beautiful crazy colors, so we're going to do that with our project today. So what you'll be needing is 2 pieces of paper, a blue and a green. You're also going to need scissors and a glue stick. You're going to need some oil pastels, which are very similar to crayons, but they're a little bit thicker. And then lastly, you're going to need some different colored paint and a fork. So let's get started. Step 1, we are going to take our blue piece of paper. This is going to be our background, and we're going to first, of course, write our name on it. You always write your name on your artwork before you begin, so that if it gets lost or misplaced, we know whose it is. As you can see, I flipped it over and put it on the back. Now I'm going to take this green piece of paper, and I'm going to be cutting out a wavy shape from it. Notice that my paper is vertical, that means straight up and down, and my second sheet is also vertical, straight up and down. What I'm going to do is take my scissors, and I'm going to just start cutting a wavy, wobbly shape. It could be wavy going straight across, or it could be wavy and goes up a little bit on the side. It doesn't really matter. If you want to draw your line out first, you totally can. I'm just going to go for it and draw and cut a wavy shape, just like that. If you, like I said, want to take your pencil and draw the shape that you think you might want to do first, like this, and then cut out along the line, of course you can do that too. Once you have your shape cut out, we're going to glue it in place. So I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to flip over my paper and put glue all over it. I'm going to concentrate on the edges. The edges is where the glue is most important. It is, of course, important to put some on the inside, but the edges is the most important. So I'm going to outline the edges with my glue stick. Once I have gotten my glue on, I'm going to take my green piece, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the paper. So this is the bottom of my green paper. I want to line it up with the bottom of my blue paper. Do my best to get to the very bottom and really line it up. If I'm a little bit off, it is okay. Just do your best to make sure it's on the bottom of your page. And I'm going to take both hands and rub and press to make sure that it is smooth and even. Now, this is my ground, and this is my sky, and from the ground are where all of my wacky little trees are going to be. Before I draw my trees, though, we're going to take a black oil pastel, so find a black one out of your pile of oil pastels, and we're going to outline. What I'm going to do is go right here on the edge of my hills that I've created. I'm going to draw a nice black line, so I can see a big difference between the sky and the ground. Dr. Seuss's illustrations all have really nice dark outlines to them, so I'm going to do that with mine as well. I am even going to add a few extra lines here. So every time there's a dip, so every time the wave goes down, I'm going to draw a line coming out of it like that. And I'm going to do the same maybe on this side, going this way, just to make it look like I have a hill, some hills. So I'm just drawing some lines. You can have them go off the page if you want, or stop in the middle of the page. Just a couple lines to make it look like there are some hills happening. All right, let's get our trees in here. So first, of course, we need some tree trunks, and the tree trunks are going to be wavy and fun and wacky, just like Dr. Seuss's. So I'm going to take my black oil pastel. If you're nervous about just doing it in black oil pastel, you can of course do this in pencil first and then trace it with your oil pastel. That is totally fine. But if you are a brave soldier and you want to just jump in and do it with the oil pastel, that is absolutely fine as well. So I'm going to be a brave person, and I'm going to take my oil pastel. I'm going to start near the top of my hill here. I'm going to draw a line going up. And then it's a little bit of a curvy line, not a perfectly straight line, and that is totally fine. Mistakes are fine. Wavy wobbly lines are fine because that is what Dr. Seuss did. Now I'm going to draw a second line next to it to make it look like a skinny tree trunk. We don't want it too fat. I'm not going to draw it way out here. We want these to be skinny trees, but I also don't want to be so close, so teeny tiny that we can't see anything. So I'm going to try to go about the width of my pencil. So looking at how wide my pencil is, I'm going to say, okay, that's how wide I want to go. And I'm going to draw my next line next to it, just like that. So that's going to be one tree. I'm going to draw a stump at the end. I'm not going to worry about the top. And then I'm going to draw some stripes in it. They can be straight across, they can be at an angle, whatever you want. All right, so I have a nice weird, it looks almost like a ladder, doesn't it, going up to the sky, but I have a nice fun funky tree trunk. I'm going to do a few more. You can do however many you want. You can do 1, 2, 3, 20, whatever you want, but every time I'm going to draw one on one side, one on the other. I'm having this one curve a little bit. Draw a line at the bottom to connect it, and then draw some stripes with my black oil pastel. And maybe some of them are going to be small. This one way in the back hill, I'm going to make this one a little shorter because it's going to be a smaller tree. Trees that are close up should be big so they look close to us. Trees that are far in the background should be smaller so that they look like they're farther away. Okay, I have 4 trees I made. Some are shorter, some stop shorter, some stop way near the top. Some are really short and small, and some are really tall and big. I'm trying to show some distance. Have some things look like they're close, some things look like they're far away. Now these tree trunks have lots of lines on them, but we want to fill those in with some color. So now we're going to take any color oil pastels that you wish, and you're going to be filling in these spaces using your oil pastel to color in some of the spaces. So I colored in some yellow and some purple. Maybe I'll do blue with this one. And see, I'm coloring in every other one because I'm trying to create a pattern. And then maybe the other part is going to be orange. Press hard with your oil pastel so they really show up nicely. And continue until all your tree trunks are colored in. Tree trunks are colored in. You'll also notice that I went through it and erased as best I could with my eraser, just any little black smudges that were showing in the sky area. And now I'm ready for my very final step, which is the most fun step, is adding these puffy, crazy tree tops to our Dr. Seuss Lorax tree forest. So I'm going to get some cups of paint. I have here the 3 primary colors, the 3 colors that are the only colors that truly exist. And from these 3 colors, we get every other color from the rainbow. So we have a blue, we have a yellow, we have sort of a magenta. This is from the red family. So if you add a little white to red, you're going to get this nice pink color or sort of magenta color. And I'm going to need my fork. So here is what we're going to do. Choose a color that you want for each little tree top, and we're going to use our fork to spread it out to make them look a little bit fluffy. I think I'm going to start with pink, this sort of magenta, and I'm going to put it right on top of this tree. So I'm going to take a little blob of it on my fork. See how I'm scooping it out in a blob, and I'm putting it right here on top of where the tree is, and that's all I need. I don't need any more. And I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to scrape and scratch to spread out the paint. I'm not going back in to get more paint right now. I'm just going to use my fork to spread this out so I create some cool wild textures, and I'm letting them really spread out. I'm spreading out whatever I could fit on my fork and fit onto the paper. And if you can see some of these lines that are still there, that is awesome. That is exactly what you want, and you want to leave it like that because that's going to make this tree really look fuzzy and wild. Once you're done with one color, you're going to get your paper towel and or tissue, and you're going to wipe off your fork. And you're going to select a different color for your next one. So maybe this one I want to have be yellow. gonna take a little blob, just put it right here. Maybe wipe off a little extra if I feel like I have too much. And I'm gonna do the same thing again. Spread it out with my fork. Now if it connects to one I already did, that's totally fine. I'm gonna let it overlap a little bit. So I have my yellow on here and I'm spreading it out. And it's okay that if it overlaps the other one a little bit, no big deal. I'm just gonna let it go on top of it. And I'm just gonna go until it gets nice and bushy looking and has a lot of texture. That looks awesome. I'm ready for my next one. So I'm gonna take my same tissue or paper towel, wipe off my fork, and I'm gonna choose my next color. All right, so let's say I want to make this one a little bit special and different. So maybe instead of just blue, I want to add a second color to it. So I'm going to take my paper towel or tissue, wipe off my fork, dip it into another color. I think I'm going to put pink on top. And I'm going to, just a small bit, and I'm going to do this again with my fork. And now I have kind of like a second layer on it. And what's also cool is that the colors start mixing a little bit. And what you'll find, at least in this example, is that blue and this purpley pink color makes a really nice purple shade to my treetop. And it adds a little extra flair. So continue this until you've finished all of your treetops, however many you've chosen to have. And there we have it, our awesome Lorax inspired tree forest. And you're all set and finished. One last fun thing you could do if you wanted is find a printout from a computer of a little Lorax creature, color it in and cut it out, and then stick him somewhere in your forest, deciding where you think he would look best, adding a little glue to that, and then sticking him in the perfect spot for your picture. Hope you guys had fun making Dr. Seuss inspired Lorax tree forest, and I can't wait to see yours.